Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace, my go-to for building a website and online shop. Hello, my darlings. Today's video is the continuation of this landscape series. Yesterday, you saw me prepare the underpainting, and today I'll be focusing on the main oil painting pass. In the last video, I briefly touched on how this landscape was a bit of a struggle for me, so I'm here to finally elaborate on why. First of all, landscapes are not a common subject for me to paint. So, like with any new skill, there's a steep learning curve, and that's just the way it is. I usually paint portraits, and outside of a few small alla prima landscape studies, I typically only ever paint natural landscape elements as the background, where they're meant to be a bit subdued to allow the human subject to shine. So, for the most part, landscapes were the supporting actors, and now I have to learn how to portray them as the main protagonist. So naturally, there were lots of new issues that suddenly boiled to the surface because I never had to push my landscape elements to such a high standard before. The first thing I struggled with was rendering so many different textures. With portraits, it's pretty much just skin and hair, but with landscapes, you have clouds, rocky mountains, green mountains, trees, bushes, grass, water, and the list goes on. Each different texture requires a different technique. For some foliage, we need to dab the paint Bob Ross style, but for other types of foliage, we need to carefully render with a smaller brush. Rocky parts require a flat brush with carefully placed, undisturbed tiles, and the list goes on. In this composition, the trees are the most prominent element, and so I had to render them to a fidelity I had never attempted before. And man, I gotta say, trees are hard, especially the silhouette/edges of the leaves. I didn't know if I should dab or render manually. I wasn't sure if I should render each individual leaf or group them together into clusters, and if so, how small and what shape should the clusters be. Also, designing the shape of the trees was so challenging, even though I look at trees all the time from my studio window. In fact, trying to design any natural element is hard because it's trying to achieve randomness on purpose. It's gotta look compositionally balanced, but also effortless and organic enough to feel like it occurred naturally. And yes, I probably should have just followed my reference photo to the T when broaching such an unfamiliar subject, instead of doing my usual deviation from the source material in order to inject some fantasy and creativity into the piece. This is a lesson learned for next time. I need to do lots of studies from life or faithfully from a reference in order to build up the muscle memory to get good enough first so that I can eventually make up my own designs later. Some other areas that need improvement are the clouds, which look kind of weird, both in terms of the colors, values, and softness or lack thereof. Also, I try to make the entire piece feel like the moment just before golden hour, but I didn't quite hit the mark, so the sky and the clouds feel like noon lighting, while the mountains and trees feel like golden hour lighting. So the atmospheric perspective of the most distant mountain looks off, because if it was golden hour lighting, that mountain should be more warm. If it was daylight lighting, that mountain should be more blue, and I kind of have it in this weird in-between stage that doesn't quite tie in with the surrounding elements as gracefully as I would like. I also tried to add some floating leaves and algae on the water that just don't look correct. I don't like the reflection of the log in the foreground. Oh, there's just so many things. Another glazing pass might be in store for the near future to harmonize all the colors and tweak those trees some more. I will definitely document that stage and share it with you all when I do. Hopefully, I can save this piece. All in all, this painting was a great learning opportunity for me, as well as a reminder that I can't just brute force my way through a painting with little to no preparation, and that I need to do many more studies from life, and that landscapes are just as hard, if not harder, than portraits in their own way. But I'm glad to have you all on this journey with me so I can share a more honest, creative process with you. Sometimes we need to just graciously accept that slice of humble pie And these moments of struggle are what helps us all become better painters. I encourage everyone watching this to challenge yourself with unfamiliar subjects to paint, put aside your insecurities, and allow yourselves to fail and stumble on the way out of your comfort zone. It's so easy to just keep painting what we are already good at, but it takes a lot more discipline and courage to willingly paint something we know we're going to be bad at for a while before we get good. But that's the only way to become more well-rounded as an artist. And that about wraps up today's video. If you'd like to see several hours of real-time tutorials where I recorded voiceover as I was working, along with hundreds of hours of exclusive content and monthly art rewards, feel free to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/happydartist. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye! And of course, you guessed it, my eternal never-ending sale is still going on in my shop, so if you'd like 20% off your order of prints and originals, just enter the code HOLIDAY at happyd-artist.com. And if you're interested in learning more about how to paint and draw, I have lots of art educational content on my Patreon page, including exclusive video tutorials, step-by-step photo tutorials, live streams, podcasts, and even surprise art gift boxes. All available at patreon.com/happydartist. I'd love to have you join my Patreon family. A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting the art community. I've been using Squarespace for 10 years now, and it's been an integral part of being able to make a living as an artist. Aside from their beautiful customizable templates and easy-to-use interface, Squarespace now has so many robust tools to help make website building be both effective and intuitive. There's a new design intelligence feature that uses a combination of industry experience and cutting-edge AI to help you make a website bespoke to your brand and digital identity. Squarespace takes the intimidation out of setting up an online shop with their intuitive e-commerce platform that accepts every type of payment method you can imagine, all with just a few simple clicks, so you can easily sell your work all around the world. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/happydartist to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Also, if you want to check out more artworks, works in progress, and just random daily artist adventures, feel free to check out my Instagram, and you can follow me at the handle @happydartist.